Hello, Leo. I'm glad you're here, though I know you didn't arrive by chance. Something has been weighing on your spirit, hasn't it? A sense that something is off, like a cold wind slipping through a closed window. Maybe you've felt drained lately, more tired than usual after certain conversations. Maybe your joy has felt quieter, your self-assurance more uncertain, though you can't quite explain why. And perhaps, just beneath it all, there's been a presence, subtle, familiar, even flattering at times, that's left you doubting yourself. Today, I need to speak to you about something important, something serious. There is a woman in your life right now who is not what she appears to be. She may smile warmly, she may praise you, seek your help, reach for your light, but underneath that surface there is a quiet hunger, and it's pulling at you. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because you shine, because you are Leo, the sun, radiant and giving. And there are people in this world who will stand in that warmth, not to grow beside you, but to feed on it. This message is not to frighten you, but to awaken what you already know. I'll guide you through the signs, help you understand how this energy works, and more importantly, how to protect yourself. We're going to walk this path together, step by step, so you can reclaim your energy, your clarity, and your peace. Because you deserve to be surrounded by love that uplifts, not love that leaves you empty. So take a breath, Leo. Settle in. You're not imagining things, and what you're about to hear may change the way you see everything. Let's begin. Our intuition has been whispering, Leo, and it hasn't been wrong. You may have brushed it aside, called it a passing mood, or blamed yourself for being overly sensitive. But deep down, you know something has shifted. There's a woman near you, perhaps familiar, perhaps new, whose energy leaves an aftertaste you can't quite name. She shows up in your life with kindness, maybe admiration. She offers her attention, her needs, her stories, and yet when she leaves, you are not lighter, you are heavier, not calmer but confused. And the worst part is, you've started questioning yourself instead of the energy you've been absorbing. This is not coincidence. This is not drama. This is an energetic reality that every Leo must learn to recognize. You were born under the sign of the sun, not metaphorically, but energetically. There's a fire in you that cannot be replicated. You shine without trying. You walk into rooms and shift the air. People notice your presence even when you say nothing at all. This brilliance you carry is beautiful, but it is also visible, and not everyone who sees your light wants to celebrate it. Some want to possess it, some want to hide beneath it, some want to drain it so they don't have to kindle their own. You see, Leo, the world is full of people who have not yet learned to create their own energy, who feel lost or empty or unstable, and when they come into contact with someone like you, radiant, generous, magnetic, they are drawn in. Not all of them intend harm, but intention is not the only factor in energetic exchange. Some people latch on, consciously or not, and begin to feed on your time, on your empathy, on your confidence. They wrap their insecurity in need and call it closeness. They use admiration as a mask for dependence, and, if you're not careful, you begin to shrink so they can feel secure. This is what you must understand now. You are not being paranoid, you are being awakened. That subtle discomfort, that mental fog, that feeling that you're constantly giving but never full, it is real. And it is happening because someone near you is tapping into your energy in a way that is not sacred, not balanced, not reciprocal. This woman may not even realize what she's doing, but the impact is the same. You are being emptied in order for her to feel whole, and that is not your soul's responsibility. She doesn't arrive in your life with thunder, Leo. No, she comes softly, wrapped in admiration, with eyes that seem to look up to you, with words that make you feel needed, essential, irreplaceable. She finds clever ways to tell you how strong you are, how magnetic, how different you are from anyone she's ever known, And because you are generous by nature, because you love to protect and uplift those around you, you let her in. At first, it feels like connection. You think she sees you. You think she honors your light. But soon, it begins to feel like something else entirely. She doesn't ask for much, just your time, just your presence, just a little help now and then. But somehow, there's always a problem. Always a crisis, always something going wrong in her world that only you seem capable of solving. She wraps her chaos in vulnerability, and you, dear Leo, with your noble heart, mistake it for closeness. She tells you her story with trembling emotion, and you hold space for it, believing that you are doing something good. But behind the scenes, she is weaving a bond that is based not in love, but in dependence. And you begin to notice something subtle but undeniable. The more time you spend with her, the less connected you feel to yourself. She knows how to play her role well. She never attacks you directly. Instead, she plants seeds, quietly, almost lovingly. She might tilt her head and say, "You used to be so confident. What's changed?" Or she'll sigh and add, "I miss the old you." These words don't sound cruel, but they carry a weight that lingers in your chest, and without realizing it, you begin to question yourself. You feel as though you're shrinking a little each time you speak with her. You hesitate more. You second-guess things you once knew with certainty. Your fire, once untouchable, now flickers in her shadow. And then there's the exhaustion. It's not the kind that comes from long days or physical labor. It's the kind that sinks into your spirit after talking to someone who only ever takes. You hang up the phone and feel heavy. You leave her presence and feel hollow. Your thoughts spiral into confusion, and your body aches in ways that don't make sense. That is not love, Leo. That is not friendship. That is energetic theft. Pay close attention to how she responds when you're joyful, when your energy is bright and your spirit is full. That's when she tends to show up most, unannounced, in need, in crisis. And when you're low, she disappears, or worse, she makes you feel guilty for not being your usual radiant self. She wants your light, but she will never help you maintain it. You may notice a possessiveness in her energy, subtle but present. She watches how others interact with you. She may interrupt conversations, make quiet jabs at your friends, or act distant when you are surrounded by people who genuinely uplift you. She wants to be the only one with access to your light, and sometimes you'll notice she gets physically close, too close. A hand on your arm that lingers, a hug that lasts just a few seconds longer than feels natural. These touches, though seemingly harmless, are not innocent. They are attempts to anchor herself into your field, to create energetic bonds that give her deeper access to what she came for. This is not about being paranoid. This is about waking up to patterns you've already begun to sense. You've been trying to explain your fatigue, your doubt, your emotional depletion, but there's nothing wrong with you, Leo. There is something very wrong with the way someone is pulling from your spirit. So now that you see the signs more clearly, Leo, let's talk about what comes next. Because recognition alone is not enough. You were not meant to live your life in confusion, questioning your worth, or giving endlessly to people who only take. You were meant to thrive, to create, to love freely, and to shine without shame. And to do that, you must begin the sacred work of reclaiming your energy. This begins with boundaries. Not walls to isolate you, but lines drawn with love that protect what is most sacred within you. The first and most powerful step is learning to say no, not with guilt, not with apology, but with quiet certainty that your time, your energy, and your emotional availability are not limitless. When this woman presents her next crisis, when she calls or texts needing something from you once again, take a breath and remember this: you are not the solution to everyone's storm. You can say, "I'm not available right now," and that is enough. You do not owe an explanation, and you are not unkind for choosing yourself. Once you begin practicing this, I want you to take it further. Pull back for 2 weeks, just 2 weeks, not in anger, not in silence, but with intention. Let your availability soften. Let the communication fade into the background. Decline invitations. Let texts go unanswered for longer than usual. And most importantly, observe. Watch how you feel when the space begins to open. Pay attention to the clarity that returns, to the lightness in your chest, to the peace in your thoughts. If you begin to feel more like yourself again, then you have your answer. Not from me, but from your own nervous system, your own soul. During this time, keep your conversations light and surface level. Do not hand over the keys to your inner world to someone who hasn't proven themselves trustworthy. Your fears, your dreams, your private moments of vulnerability, these are not for everyone. When we share too deeply with someone who drains us, we give them the power to shape our reality with their reactions. Protect your sacred spaces. Speak kindly, but keep your truth guarded. As you create this space, fill it not with more doing, but with deep connection to yourself. Spend time in silence. Meditate. Go for walks where you can feel the wind and listen to the trees. Move your body in ways that remind you of your strength. Reconnect with the rhythm of your own breath. These rituals may seem small, but they are powerful. They reinforce your boundaries, and they pull your light back into your own hands. And then, when you're ready, take inventory of the people around you. Who leaves you feeling seen, empowered, and safe? Who listens to you without judgment and celebrates your joy without jealousy? These are your people, Leo. Stay close to them. Keep their love in your orbit. The best defense against negative energy is the presence of those who nourish your spirit and ask nothing in return. Above all, trust yourself. You have always known. From the first moment something felt off, your body spoke to you. That tightness in your chest, that unease in your stomach, that quiet voice that whispered, "This doesn't feel right." That was your wisdom. Don't abandon it again. Let it be your compass. Your Leo instincts are not weaknesses. They are your strength, your gift, and your guide. Now, Leo, I need to speak to the part of you that may be entangled, not just emotionally, but romantically. Because if this woman holds that kind of closeness, if she has access to your heart, to your tenderness, to the places you rarely show, then the danger is far deeper and far more complicated to untangle. Love, when true, should liberate you. It should open your chest, not tighten it. It should make you feel more like yourself, not less. But some people use love not as a language of connection, but as a tool of control. You may have already noticed the pattern. Intense affection followed by unexpected distance. Warmth one day and a coldness the next that leaves you second-guessing what you did wrong. This is not passion. This is manipulation wrapped in emotion. When someone loves you only when you are giving, only when you are available, only when your light is directed fully toward them, what they love is not you, but the power they feel when you are near. This kind of person does not want to build love with you. They want to hold you in place through confusion and craving. Pay attention to how she reacts when you ask for space, when you take time for yourself, when you choose to focus on your passions, your friends, or even a quiet evening alone. If love suddenly turns to anger, if guilt replaces affection, if she accuses you of being distant or uncaring simply because you are honoring your own needs, that is not love. That is control. You are not here to orbit someone else's emotional landscape. You are the sun, Leo. You have the right to shine from your own center. And watch the jealousy, not the kind that flickers and fades, but the kind that smolders. Does she question the women in your life, your colleagues, your old friends? Does she make subtle remarks to keep you feeling watched, even when you've done nothing wrong? Does she criticize the people who support you? Because if she can chip away at your connections, she can isolate you. And isolation makes it easier for her to become the only voice in your head. This is not what you deserve. You deserve a love that expands you, that stands beside you without casting shadows, that holds space for all that you are without needing to diminish it. You deserve someone who trusts your light instead of trying to own it. So if this woman is in your bed, in your heart, in your mind, and her love leaves you more anxious than assured, then I need you to be honest with yourself, not cruel, just honest. So now, dear Leo, take a moment, not to think, but to feel. Quiet the noise, let the questions fade. Breathe into your chest and ask yourself one thing. If she disappeared from your life tomorrow, without a word, without a storm, would you feel sorrow or would you feel relief? Because that answer, the honest one that rises before logic can edit it, holds everything you need to know. You were not born to be someone's emotional crutch, their battery, their lifeline. You were not sent here to prove your worth through constant sacrifice. You came into this world radiant and whole. Your confidence, your joy, your creativity, your lion's heart, all of it is sacred. And any connection, romantic or otherwise, that demands you shrink in order to keep the peace is a betrayal of your soul. So this is your invitation to return to yourself, to remember that your light is not selfish, that protecting your energy is not cruel, that setting boundaries is not abandonment. It is devotion to your well-being. You do not need to explain your healing to anyone. You do not need permission to reclaim what was always yours. Over the coming days, take the distance you need. Watch who respects it. Watch who panics. Pay attention to what your body tells you when you stop giving so much of yourself away. And if clarity comes, if peace begins to bloom again in your spirit, trust it. That is your truth rising. That is your soul remembering its strength. Leo, your heart is not a battlefield. Your love is not a resource to be mined. You are not here to be drained. You are here to be honored, to be cherished, to be met with the same fire you offer so freely to others.